All right, so you guys are unprofitable and it's completely your fault in every single way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get you guys right, show you guys how you can easily trade stocks and how you can stop losing all of your money. First thing I'm gonna go ahead and tell you need to do is stop scalping, stop instantly closing trades and reopening them. A few seconds later, that's doing nothing but holding you back. You're not making any real profit and you're never gonna grow your account. You're playing for pennies on the dollar, and that's pretty much the reason why your account isn't growing and why you're still not profitable and successful. Another reason why you're unprofitable, you're using the lower time frames. Some of you guys are trying to scalp on the 5 minute and stuff like that, etc. That requires a lot of precision to do. And I don't want you guys to just burn yourself out by keep trying to chase setups that aren't even within the direction that the higher time frame and institutionalized traders are trading with. So you guys have to understand that there's hedge funds trading with tens of millions of dollars. And there's going to be large groups of people who just have a big sum of income, and they're going to be the ones moving the markets, okay? Not the people just trading on Robinhood on their phone or just a normal day-to-day person. They don't really matter when it comes to moving the markets, right? Okay. So you're going to continue to struggle if you don't understand these two things as well too. Resistance and support. Market is this easy. Don't use any weird terms, no imbalances, no weird terms like that. All that's just going to do is confuse you. Only thing is volume, support, and resistance. That's it. And maybe gap fills as a term too. Okay. So let's talk about what support is, what resistance is, and what volume is. So support. Every stock is going to start pretty much at zero. Unlike forex, the market is going to be pretty much an upwards trend the whole time. Forex is going to be a lot more sideways, but a lot of the times on US stocks, say I go Amazon for example, you're going to see, especially on the daily, the beginning of price action is going to be nowhere near where we are today. That's because the point of the stock market is to go upward. Okay. So let's go and let's talk about what support is and what resistance is. Okay. So support and resistance work off of each other. Okay, is what people fail to realize. Support is going to be just as important as resistance. One is not more important than the other, and here's what they are. So whenever you see market bottoming out and going up with an upwards projection like that, that's going to let you know that this is an area of support right here. Okay, so support is going to be this area here where price decides to bounce upward at. So support is an area where price bounces upward from. Okay, and buyers step in. Okay, so whenever you see price bouncing upward from a direction and making a V, kind of like right here, that's going to signify an area of support. That's an area where price decides to bounce upward from. Okay, opposite of support is going to go ahead and be, let me just grab a random point here. Opposite of support is going to be resistance. Okay, resistance right here. So you can see, I want you guys to go ahead and see this here. Look at these two spots within the same box. As we can see, price decided to come into this box and fall downwards within the same area here. This is going to signify that this is an area of resistance. All right. So resistance is going to be an area where price decides to top out at, and it's an area where sellers come in. Okay. So sellers come in areas of resistance, and support means that buyers are coming in. So resistance is an area where sellers come in, and it's an area where price falls down. So whenever you see price making a kind of a wizard hat formation here, and then falling downward, that's going to be an area of resistance. Okay? Resistance, downward, downward, resistance. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and soak that in. So that's support. And then this is resistance. Resistance is when market cones, falls down. Support is when market bottoms out, V's, and bounces upward. Okay? Keep these two things in account. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the best stocks to find and how I like to trade stocks, right? So say you guys are growing a small account, for example. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys pretty much the best stocks to play. So if you're on TradingView, you can go to your stock screener here. It's gonna be this little button here to the right. Click on screeners, and it's gonna come up with some options here, okay? So price, you can make sure the market's on US on the top left. Price, let's go ahead and put the price from 15 to 200. So you can go and click up here where it says price, click on manual setup, change between 15 to 200. This is pretty much gonna give you guys just some super cheap stocks to play. Then you guys are gonna go to ADR. If you don't see ADR right here, average daily range, then click the plus line, type in ADR, average daily range, okay? And you guys can click on it, and you guys can go ahead and put the percent of the ADR, okay? So 5%, click either one, change it to 5%. After you're done with that, you're gonna go ahead and go to your volume, click on the arrow, make sure the highest volume is gonna start at the top here, okay? So I have 184 symbols I can go ahead and trade. These are gonna be just some good symbols I can take here, which is some high ADR, some high price action. So if you guys have a smaller account, you can use these if you don't have enough money to swing trade like the blue caps, such as like Microsoft, Google, Apple, Nvidia, stuff like that too. So there's gonna be some cheaper contracts you can swing until you do get into that point. So let's say, let's just go ahead and grab a random stock here. So I'm gonna go ahead and look through, look for something with a clean setup that I like. So what I like to typically wait for is for an area of resistance to be created. I'm gonna wait for that area of resistance to be broken. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take it back up. So check this out right here. All right, this is gonna be Trump stock here, DJHT. So as we can see here, resistance got created off of very, very heavy. So I want you guys to check this out here just to show you that this does work. So look at this point of resistance right here on the daily, right? The daily time frame is gonna be what you're using. Look at this point of resistance right here. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a boxer. As we go ahead and see, resistance then turned into support, and we had a push to the upside. Okay? So resistance turned into support. So pretty much all we're gonna be doing is waiting for that again. So if I wanted to long this here, I could go ahead and come right here, mark out this key area of resistance right here, and I could wait for price to get above this area, okay? And resistance should turn into support. And then we can go ahead and take it up to the upside. So say if I wanted to take it up to this area of resistance right here, okay? So realistically, it might be something like this. Okay? Top area of resistance here, another area of resistance here, and then another area of resistance here. And what lets me know that this area of resistance is really, really strong here is I also do have an area of support here. So I want you guys to understand something. Resistance, once broken, turns into support. And if an area of resistance gets broken and holds a support, you can take it up to the next level, okay? And as we can go and see here, for this trade right here, price turned this area of support into some resistance. And then price went ahead and went down to the downside, okay? So we can see here, support got broken, and then price pulled back up to the area of support and pulled back down. So with just this conclusion right here, with just this little image, we can go ahead and conclude two things, okay? Resistance, once broken, turns into support, okay? And support, once broken, can turn into resistance. So resistance, once broken, can turn into support for a bullish staircase continuation. So if you're gonna long trade, your long should look like this. Don't trade breakouts. Don't get in as soon as the price breaks out. Don't do that stupid stuff. That's the reason why you're not making any money. It's because you're impatient. The reason why you're just straight up not making any money from this is because you're just impatient. You don't know how to analyze and you don't know how to wait. And once you guys get those two things down, the bread will flow to you, inshallah. So check it. Wait for the resistance to be formed here. The work is already done for you. You don't have to predict. You didn't have to short this entry here. You could just wait for this entry to go ahead and be invalidated and take it up to the next level. And that's going to go ahead and be the gap fill here. Okay? You stop loss underneath here. Okay? So you just wait. Just wait for price. So support once broken can turn into resistance. And that's how we have bullish continuations. Okay? So when you guys are longing, it should look like this. Okay? Your long should always be a break of resistance into support every single time. Otherwise, your long is just straight up incorrect. Your long is not going to be correct if that's not how it looks. And your short is not going to be correct if it doesn't look like this. So check it here. So if you don't see support get broken and turn into resistance, then you can't short. And if you don't see resistance get broken and hold as support, then you can't long. Until you see either of two things happen, then you cannot take a trade. Get strict on your criteria and understand what you're looking at, and the bread will come to you. Okay? So let's go over another example here. So I'm gonna go back to my stock screener. The thing about these super stocks here that are really, really cool to play, these are all fast movers that have over 5% ADR, advanced daily range. So which means they move pretty fast. Good price action in these at the moment. And especially when I choose volume, we're gonna be looking at the highest volume ones from the top to the bottom. Okay, so what I like to go ahead and do is just look for ones with some nice structure. I'm gonna look for a stock that moves pretty well. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just wait for a setup to be formed. So let's say if I took Reddit right here, right? Reddit, okay, here's a good example. We have earnings on the 12th, okay? Same thing with Reddit right here too, right? Check this out. If I see this area of resistance right here, okay? Let's see once price came into this area. We decided to short a few times here. Price came in here, shorted, price came in here, shorted, price came right here, shorted. Pretty much 3 different times in like a similar area, price shorted. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is wait for price to get above this, okay? I'm gonna wait for price to go ahead and get above this area here. Okay? And you could take your first take profit at this resistance right here. First take profit here, and then final take profit, I would maybe put at this area of support right here. Because remember, you want support to turn into resistance. And I also see how the resistance right here got broken above and then held it as support right here for the bullish continuation. So actually, I'm gonna delete this line. Actually, you can keep this for first TP, but ultimate TP is gonna be up here by this resistance up here for this full gap fill on the support. Okay. So ideally, that's what you guys are gonna wanna be waiting for. Wait for price to just do its thing, okay? After I showed you where it wants to short, you could just wait for it to be broken. If price comes down on the daily and wicks off of the daily and then gives you some bullish reaction, some bullish continuation, go ahead and get in. So say price does a breakout off of this resistance right here, okay? You don't get in as soon as price breaks. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Wait for price to get up above the resistance and then wait for price to pull back down and give you a strong wick off of one of these areas. You can either take it there off of the first wick, or if you wanted even more confidence, you can wait for the candlestick to honestly close, wait for the next daily candlestick to close after price wicks, and then you guys can take the rest of the gap fill. So even if you don't get an entry down here, right at the main wicks, you could easily get an entry like up here and then take the rest of the profit up really, really simply, okay? So even if you don't catch the whole move, that's fine. As long as you guys know how to read the direction, a lot of the times your win rate is going to be successful. That's just how you're going to win. Okay. So Bank of America here. Here's a trade that I did analyze, put in the Discord. So what I did, I noticed that this area of resistance right here got broken, held it as support right here. Price continued, made area of resistance right here by the support. Price broke above it, held the resistance as support. As you can see, the wicks down here held resistance as support, and then price decided it wanted to continue in a bullish formation. Okay. So price decided it wants to go ahead and continue off of that. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Trading is extremely, extremely simple. What I'm going to go ahead and do is take it up to this next area of resistance right here and go ahead and catch this gap fill here, inshallah, God wills. Same thing with lift. Let me go ahead and show you this. Same thing, V gap fill structure. Clean area of resistance right here. Got broken a past. During earnings, price went back down to it, held the resistance. Okay, even if I didn't take it on the first wick, that's fine. Waited a couple of days, waited for the candlestick to close actually. Got above the resistance. Once I got a close above the resistance, I went ahead and just got in, and inshallah, God wills, we'll catch the rest of this gap fill. So the reason why you're not profitable is because you're on the lower time frames and you don't know how to read support and resistance. Just keep it simple, keep it easy, and just read market structure the way it needs to be read. Same thing if you guys are going to short. If you guys are in a short trade, let me go ahead and give you an example of a short. You are going to have to be more patient when it comes to shorts. You're going to want to make sure that the setup is looking right. Okay. So, and honestly on stocks, you guys can really just wait for pullbacks. You guys can honestly just wait for pullbacks and just long, especially when it comes to options. Just buy weeks out, months out, and just catch the whole move every single time and just wait for a pullback. You really don't have to short if you don't want to, especially when it comes to the United States stock market. I know shorting is really popular in forex. That's because the chart is more sideways, but when it comes to stocks, majority of these just go up a lot of the time. And if you do have a clean and easy short to take, then that's going to be fair, but don't burn your account trying to catch shorts, right? So here's would have been an easy short right here, right? But check out this area of support right here, all the way to the left. So price broke down above it. This is why we don't enter on breakouts. Look at that. All the noob trapped people right there who just entered as soon as price broke out and got wicked back on. Okay, so what price did is it broke out of the support right here. And then what price did is it pulled back up to it right here and gave us a short entry. Okay, it was good to see we dumped down for a while. All right, and then after that, price went down, made some resistance right here. And just like I said, watch this. Resistance gets held as support. Okay? So just keep it easy, guys. Don't make trading harder than it needs to be. Here's all the sauce you guys are going to need to become profitable. Stay prayerful with God, keep taking care of your families, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.